Hey guys, it's Will. Welcome to the channel. I'm a part-time day trader trying to become a full-time. It is May now, and I am going to do a monthly recap on my April trades. I haven't actually looked at my April's P&L, and I am going to show you guys live. I don't want to look at my P&L, maybe because it might affect my next month, but I don't want to get too greedy, and I just want to play day by day and take it one step at a time. Right now it is May 5th, and I didn't take any trades on the last week. I actually did, but I did not take any actual trades during May. So I am gonna go back to April, and I did take 5 trades in total, just 5 trades, and basically it is 1 trade a week. Right now it is the privacy filter, but I had to change it to the actual dates. So it is the April 1st to the April 30th. Those are the actual trading days. I had to obviously move the privacy filter as well to dollar amount, $89. I didn't know why I did that, but that's pretty good. I already knew I was up. I already knew I was gonna be up, but yes, I knew I was gonna be up around $80 because obviously I can just do the math in my head if I knew the actual trading days, but I just didn't know the exact amount. But we are up $89.11, and my trade win percentage is 80%, which is actually my highest win rate ever. My profit factor is 6.21. That is insane. Never have anything above a 2, I think. I'm not really sure. 80% win rate, like I said, it's because we only had 1 trading day that I lost, and my other days were all wins. Average win to loss is 1.55. I definitely had a higher one before, like a 2, but those were not profitable months. Honestly, my average win to loss will be better. It should be better, but you know, I'm still happy with my win percentage. So April is the best month I ever had, at least for this year. You guys saw my other past months. If you guys watched my previous video, I can just go back to March. I was profitable, but I was only up 40 bucks. February, I was down a lot. January, I was down a lot. So I want to break down this thing real quick. Zealous score, I actually never really look at it, honestly. If it's higher, if it's 100%, then it's better. I'm not really sure how this thing works, but I'm pretty sure if it's around 100, it's better. Probably the average win to loss is, if it's higher, then it'll be closer to a better score. And my max drawdown was not a lot at all, so maybe that also helps. Recovery factor, it was never really down, so I guess my recovery factor is pretty high. My consistency is 80% win rate, so I guess it's pretty good. I am just gonna break down all the trades that I took this month. It's only 5 trades, so it isn't too long. Which the first trade is April 3rd. I won $20 and my net ROI was 21.55. So it wasn't a big trade. It was probably like a scalp mainly. It was a SPY put or short position that I took. I'm not gonna break down these trades really thoroughly because I do have full videos on them on my weekly recaps, and you guys can watch those as well. So this trade was $20 and my max drawdown was about $7 and my max profit was about $30. I do options. So this was a 538 put. That is 0 DTE. I only trade intraday. I only scalp usually about 5 to 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Sometimes it could take 1 hour, but I don't go the whole day, or I don't swing trade. So that's why 0 DTE doesn't really mean anything to me. Someone actually commented in one of my videos, they were saying 0 DTE means day till expiration. So usually if you have 0 DTE, you can't swing trade it. During when the market is about to close, like let's say around 3-4 p.m., that's when the value of the option really dies quickly. So that's why they say it's a lot more risky, and it is risky, but I'm not holding it till then. If I'm just scalping it for 1 hour or like 30 minutes or even 2 hours early in the day, then it is fine, right? I'm not risking anything. I'm not doing anything risky. I'm just scalping it. But the people who are trying to hold it and just trying to believe something's gonna happen and then it doesn't happen, then that's why they're risking too much. My adjusted cost was $92. That's basically how much I spent on the option. I'm not actually risking $92, but if it expires, then yes, I lose $92, or it really depends. But the max risk I can take is $92. I did win $20 on this, so my initial risk was $92, but I'm not actually risking that. I'm just leveraging $92, and I only made 21% off that $92, and that is 20 bucks right there. And this was my break and retest short. It was also an A+ setup that I had. Right here is the 2-minute charts. I always have 4 charts that I look at. I look at the QQQ, I look at the SPY, I look at the NASDAQ futures, and I look at the ES futures, which is the S&P 500. These are my zones here that I chart out every day, intraday. And what I do is I look for break and retests. If it breaks at the demand level, then I look for retest shorts. If it breaks at supply level, then I look for retest longs. But it really depends on the charts. I can always play shorts and longs if it reclaims levels. Since we're in a downtrend market, my game plan for this day was if it breaks this low of the pre-market, which was 454, then I'll look for a break and retest short. I did short it right here, and even though it didn't follow my game plan, I was looking at the SPY instead, since this was the pre-market low of the SPY. So it did break this level, and it did break this level on the ES as well. So once it did break it for these levels, it started retesting the level. And then once I started seeing the retest of these levels, I decided to put my risk up here, and then I decided to short it down here. And it aligned with all the other markets too. We see that the Qs, it broke up, but it failed back in the level, and it started retesting this level. And it was also the same thing as the Nasdaq. It broke up, it failed, it did a false breakout, it started retesting the level, and then I decided to short the level. I did sell it early on this demand level because I was scared of this pre-market low on the Qs, and I should have held it to one of these lows right here. Sometimes you gotta respect levels, because what if it did actually hold up there? And I only have one option. I'm only trading one contract, so I'm not able to scale. But we'll see in the future how I scale, because I'm not really sure how I will right now, because it could affect my P&L as well if I just scale off randomly. Going to the second week of April now, I did take a loss and I did take a win. This was $17. It was a short position as well. And I've been shorting this whole month because the market has been weak. You can see from this chart that it is more choppy than the other one. It's not really as structured. And for me, I want to see clear levels. I want to see clear retests of levels. And right now it's kind of choppy, right? It's kind of choppy, and that's why I probably lost on this day. I lost because I probably just wanted to trade, right? So it broke down this level right here, and you can see how it's holding like the whole day, or at least like 1 hour. It keeps holding, or general areas around that level. It's not really clear, but once it starts breaking down this level, and I was pretty annoyed. I was like, I didn't get my entry because it didn't retest the level. I had to really make sure it retests the level, and then I can short. But it just went straight down, so I didn't take a trade. But once it started coming back up, retesting the level, I was like, maybe I can play a short now. You see the other markets like the SPY and the ES, it's going back up. That's where I got my entry. It's going back up, and right now it's in the middle of the zone. You can see how it's right here. It's in the middle, and I like it to align. I like it to align with the market. Since it's in the middle of the zone, I shouldn't have taken it, because you can see that it just broke back up. Where I should have taken the trade was when it started retesting the SPY right here of this 400 level. And then once it starts rejecting a lot of minutes, it keeps rejecting a lot of candles, and then that's when I could take my position off there. The reason why I lost in this trade is because I did not wait for confirmation, did not look at the other markets, did not pay attention to the SPY, and that's why I lost. Did not give it the space and wait for this retest, and it worked out beautifully if I did. Going to the third trade of this month, which was April 10th, this was a win, so it did make me break even, and I am up for that week. So I'm gonna go here. It was 33%, so it is a bit higher. This trade I won about 26 bucks up here, 33%, and I was down maximum about $3, and maximum profit was about $35, and I was only in for about 7 minutes, so that's pretty fast. Again, what I look for is the break and retest. I chart my levels every single day, and I look for pre-market low breaks, or I look for pre-market high breaks. Depending on the market, I long or short. So since it was breaking the pre-market lows, it started breaking down this low on the Qs and also the Nasdaq. But if you look at the SPY and the ES, it starts holding this level. Technically, I shouldn't short it. It's because it's holding a demand level, and we're still in the demand zone, and that's why it did get faked out. You see how it goes down here, and then it goes back up. It fakes you out, it goes back up, and people might lose there. What I also do is when I wait for my strategy, when I look for my break and retest strategy, I look for big breaks of the market, and then it slowly starts retesting the level to show me that it's rejecting still. And then once it starts showing me rejections, and then I take it off that level. If you see this is not really a big break. It's kind of very close to my level, and it's like kind of just chopping up and down, and that's why I also don't take it. Plus the demand zone's right here. But later day, let's say about 1 hour later, it fakes you out, it goes up, and then it goes back down, and then by that time you can see that it is breaking down lower. It is breaking down more. This break right here, yes, it is a break, but it's like kind of like very close to my level, is like chopping up and down. But this break is just straight down. I like it more when it's more straight down, and then later it starts retesting the level slowly like that, and then that is my retest. You can see that the downtrend is still forming like this. It's still forming. Then again, you see the SPY and the ES are still holding this demand zone. But for me, it is more clear now that we are in a downtrend, and that we are rejecting the levels of the Nasdaq and the QQQ. That's why I decided to short right at the 451, and that was the best entry. In week 3, the volume was insane. Did not see any setups that I liked, so I did not take any trades. And then week 4, took one trade. it was 46%. I was pretty happy with this trade. Maximum loss was $3, maximum profit was $49. I did short the Qs, it was a 431 put, and I was only in the trade for about 10 minutes. Viewing the trade now, this one is probably the most clear that you could possibly see. It is the break of a level in each of all these markets, and then it slowly starts to retesting the level, retest, and my entry was on the Qs. So this is where I entered when I started seeing reject again, and my demand zones and my target was supposed to be these levels right here, but I did not stay that long. I did exit out around here. Probably should have way longer, but I only have one contract. I can't scale out. It's really hard because sometimes the market just gets bought back up randomly, and you never know. Just because I have these levels in the chart doesn't mean it's gonna always work out. That's why you should always scale up profits. You can actually just hold this whole thing into there. Let's say we scale off right here, and my ultimate target is still these levels right here in the market. But during this time, when it hits this level, it's only around here, right? It's only around this area right here, and my target is still these demand lows. So that's why I could scale out 3/4 of my position off of this level right here and just hold a tiny runner and maybe milk out, so maybe 10% more, 20% more. But just holding my whole position there is really risky because this demand low can actually just step up and then the market just goes back up, and then I could have lost all my profits there. Now going into my last trade of April, it was the last day of April, was $20. I was happy about this trade. Was a little scared of this trade as well, but it was a 27%, about $24. It is a break and retest short. I do have my 30 minutes here, so I'll show you guys at 30 minutes first. So what I was looking for was this 465 low on the market, and it aligns with these lows as well of the SPY, the ES, and the NASDAQ. So what I was looking for was a break and retest off that level. If it did break that level, then I look for a retest and short, and that's what it did. Here's a 2-minute now, and we see that the pre-market low was 465. It broke that level, and then it slowly started retesting the level. It was slowly sliding up, retesting, and then I got off my position there, and it does the same in every single market. I do have a small demand low on the NASDAQ, but I knew that this pre-market was a pretty strong level, and it was a low that was holding the past couple days, and then I just took it off till the next demand zone. I was kind of scared in this trade because I got it around 464.50, which I was risking about 50 cents. And when it went close to my level, which was the 465, I was down 10%. I was getting a little scared because my risk maybe would have been the 545 on the SPY and this ES. It's because maybe it had to slide a bit higher to retest that level, and then I'll have to give it more space, because if it did go up this level, it's because if I was risking the level of the 465 on the Qs, it could have went back higher. But maybe in the SPY it goes up higher, but it still rejects this level, and the trade was still valid, but I did get out. But then I'll be risking a bit more. It could have maybe been like 40%. I was hoping for a little more because it was a really good break and retest. It was only 27%, but I had to respect this low in the market. Imagine I didn't respect the levels, I didn't respect the demand zones, because it could go down further on the SPY, but then it just holds this level here and I didn't get out, and I'm still thinking that it could break down, and then I just lost the trade. That is my trading recap for April. I am up $89, and we are up this month. We're doing pretty good. Let's see if I could do good the next month, and let's keep this thing going, and hopefully I'm able to just keep getting 1% better. And what I like to say is, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Keep staying disciplined, keep staying consistent, and let's just get 1% better every day. And I'll see you in the next one.